Good evening, everyone. Before we talk about connection, communication, or emotional intimacy, let me begin with something simple but powerful. The human body is filled with hidden doorways to sensation, and many of them are often overlooked. Pleasure doesn't live in just one or two places, it lives everywhere awareness lives. The lips, for example, are packed with nerve endings that respond instantly to warmth and softness. The neck carries vulnerability and trust, making even the lightest touch feel amplified. The ears respond not only to touch, but to breath and sound. The scalp can awaken waves of tingling relaxation when gently stimulated. The hands and fingertips translate emotion through contact. The lower back releases tension and invites closeness. The inner arms and wrists carry delicate sensitivity. Even areas like the thighs, the shoulders, and the soles of the feet can heighten awareness when touched with intention and care. When partners learn to explore these sensitive regions slowly, attentively, and respectfully, sensation doesn't just appear, it builds, it deepens, it spreads. Intensity is not created through force, but through awareness of how the body responds to gentle, intentional connection. And that is where our conversation truly begins. Understanding how two people can discover, awaken, and share pleasure in a way that is not rushed, not mechanical, but deeply felt physically, emotionally, and mentally. Today, we're talking about something deeply human, deeply personal, and profoundly meaningful: pleasure within intimate relationships. Not just physical pleasure, not just attraction, not just chemistry, but the full experience of connection between two people who choose to explore closeness together. Pleasure is often misunderstood. Many people think of it as something physical, something immediate, something driven purely by sensation. But real pleasure, lasting, expanding, fulfilling pleasure, is something much deeper. It lives in trust, it grows through emotional safety, it expands through awareness, and most importantly, it is created together. Pleasure is not something one person gives and the other receives. It is something that is built moment by moment through attention, communication, and mutual presence. When two people truly connect, even the simplest touch can feel meaningful. When connection is missing, even intense stimulation can feel empty. That difference is everything. To understand how to unlock pleasure with your partner, we must begin with the most powerful and sensitive organ in the human body: the mind. Before touch is felt in the skin, it is interpreted in the brain. Before the body relaxes, the mind must feel safe. Before sensation becomes enjoyable, emotion must feel secure. Anticipation, comfort, affection, and trust all shape how the body responds to contact. If someone feels anxious, judged, distracted, or pressured, their nervous system shifts into protection mode, muscles tighten, breathing becomes shallow, awareness narrows, the body becomes guarded. In that state, pleasure cannot fully unfold. But when someone feels seen, respected, accepted, and emotionally safe, the body opens, muscles soften, breathing deepens, sensitivity increases, the mind becomes receptive instead of defensive. This is why emotional connection is not separate from physical pleasure. It is the gateway to it. The foundation of pleasure is communication: honest, calm, respectful communication. Not just talking about what feels good physically, but expressing boundaries, preferences, comfort levels, and emotional needs. Listening without interruption, asking without assumption, responding without judgment. When partners feel free to express themselves without fear of embarrassment or rejection, curiosity replaces tension. And curiosity is one of the amplifiers of pleasure. Another essential element is many people are physically near their partners, but mentally elsewhere, thinking about work, stress, responsibilities, or distractions. When attention is divided, sensation becomes dull. When attention is focused, sensation becomes vivid. Presence means noticing details, the warmth of skin, the rhythm, the subtle shifts in the quiet signals the body sends constantly. When two people slow down enough to truly notice each other, their nervous systems begin to synchronize. That synchronization deepens connection and heightens sensitivity. Slowness is not a lack of intensity. Slowness is precision. It allows the brain to register sensation fully. It allows anticipation to build. It allows emotional awareness to grow. Pleasure is rarely about speed, it is about depth of awareness. The human body is filled with areas that respond strongly to gentle, mindful touch. These areas are sensitive not only because of nerve endings, but also because of emotional associations, vulnerability, closeness, trust, comfort, and affection. One of the most responsive areas is the neck. The skin is delicate, the nerves are close to the surface, and the area carries strong psychological meaning. The neck is exposed only when someone feels safe. Gentle, attentive touch here often produces a sense of warmth and closeness that spreads through the entire body. It signals trust, it signals care, it invites relaxation. The ears are another powerful center of sensitivity. They respond not only to that they respond not only to human beings are deeply responsive to how they are spoken to. A calm, affectionate voice can soothe the nervous system, while tension in tone can create distance. Sensory experience is never only physical, it is emotional and auditory as well. Hands hold extraordinary sensitivity. They contain countless nerve endings and play a central role in human bonding. Holding hands is one of the earliest and most universal forms of connection, used in comfort, reassurance, excitement, and affection. Slow contact across the palms or fingers can create grounding and emotional warmth that spreads throughout the body. The hands communicate intention, care, and presence. The lower back is another area where physical and emotional meaning overlap. It often holds tension from daily stress, and when touched gently, it can release stored tightness. This release does more than relax muscles, it signals safety, it signals support. The body interprets steady, mindful contact here as stabilizing and reassuring. Less obvious areas can also carry remarkable sensitivity. The inner arms and wrists, for example, are rarely the focus of attention, which makes them surprisingly responsive. The skin is thin, and the body often interprets gentle touch here as nurturing. Exploring less familiar areas reminds partners that the entire body is capable of sensation, not just a few commonly recognized zones. Pleasure becomes richer when the whole body is included in awareness. Breathing is one of the most powerful yet overlooked tools for deepening sensation. Breath regulates the nervous system. Slow breathing Deep breathing increases oxygen flow, softens muscles, and heightens sensory awareness. When people become aware of their breathing, sensation intensifies naturally. When partners notice each other's breathing, matching rhythm, slowing together, pausing together, connectio, and deepens without a single word being spoken. Breath transforms touch from mechanical contact into shared experience. One of the most important yet rarely discussed aspects of pleasure is attunement. Attunement means sensing and responding to another person's subtle signals. It means paying attention to shifts in movement, changes in breathing, emotional reactions, and body language. It means adjusting not because of instruction, but because of awareness. When someone feels that their partner is truly noticing them, their body relaxes in a profound way. That relaxation increases receptivity, and increased receptivity expands pleasure naturally. Technique can be learned. Attunement must be felt. Communication during moments of closeness is not disruptive. It is connective, gentle check ins, responsive listening, and shared feedback create collaboration. When two people treat intimacy as something they explore together rather than something one performs for the other, pressure disappears. Curiosity replaces expectation. Routine is one of the quietest barriers to pleasure. The brain quickly adapts to repetition and stops registering familiar patterns with the same intensity. Introducing small variations, different pacing, different pressure, different environments, different forms of affection reawakens awareness. Novelty does not have to be dramatic. Even at the heart of all meaningful pleasure is consent, not passive consent, not assumed consent, enthusiastic, clear, comfortable consent. When people feel fully free to choose, their bodies respond with openness instead of guardedness. Trust deepens, vulnerability becomes possible. And vulnerability is where profound connection lives. Respect is not separate from pleasure. Respect is the structure that allows pleasure to exist safely. Connection does not end. When physical closeness ends, what happens afterward matters deeply. Gentle conversation, quiet closeness, or simple shared stillness allows the nervous system to settle. This period of calm integration strengthens emotional bonding and reinforces feelings of appreciation and care after intimacy communicates something powerful. You matter beyond the moment. When we step back and look at the full picture, pleasure reveals itself as something far more meaningful than sensation alone. It is communication without language. It is trust expressed through touch. It is attention made visible. It is the experience of being fully present with another person and fully received in return. To unlock pleasure with your partner is not to master a set of techniques. It is to cultivate awareness. It is to listen deeply. It is to notice subtlety. It is to value emotional connection as much as physical response. It is to move slowly enough to feel, clearly enough to explore together. The human body contains countless pathways to sensation: the warmth of skin, the sensitivity of the neck, the responsiveness of the hands, the calming rhythm of breath, the quiet language of presence. But none of these pathways fully open without emotional safety guiding them. When trust is strong, awareness is gentle, communication is honest, and attention is shared, pleasure unfolds naturally, not as something forced, not as something performed, but as something discovered layer by layer through connection. And perhaps that is the most important truth of all. Pleasure is not something you take. Pleasure is not something you prove. Pleasure is something you build together. Thank you.